Agamar pretty much is almost scammed out of everything with Goonswarm, and he says, "Wait a minute, I really like it here. What can I do to keep my position in Goonswarm? By the way, I'm a Band of Brothers alt." And so this news, because this doesn't happen too often, this news basically goes up to the Goonswarm public relations guy, a character by the name of the Matani, and he's not going to be the one that turns away a BoB director, so he basically makes a deal with, listen up here, Di, this is a bit new, he makes a deal with Hagoth Agamar that basically they'll nick the entire, a large part of the Band of Brothers Dreadnought fleet, and because at this point Hagoth Agamar is basically the ultimate disgruntled worker. Just think about the guy who comes in with an Uzi and starts messing the place up. He is not happy with a Band of Brothers. So the next day, they pretty much wait until stupid o'clock in the morning, basically when no one is on. And they had a time, I think it was around 3 in the morning, but they actually went ahead of schedule because no one was on. They nicked a good bit of the capital fleet, but not only that, Hagoth actually had a brilliant idea to say, hey, wait a minute, we are in such a good position to just screw BoB so hard. And he immediately kicked out all of the corporations in Band of Brothers, and then left the alliance. He kicked out all the corporation members, set the standings for everyone to -10, basically shoot on sight, and left the alliance, basically disbanding Band of Brothers as an alliance. Pretty much immediately, Goonswarm took up the reins and made their own alliance called Band of Brothers, just so BoB couldn't get it back. Now, you're probably just thinking, now
wow.
what does this mean? Why is it so, it's just a name, right? Well, the thing is, with an alliance and 0-0 territory or low-sec territory comes POSs, which give you sovereignty in those systems. Sovereignty does a few things, but for layman's terms and just for the sake of quickness, it basically means this system is yours. If you have enough sovereignty in a system, it can't get attacked. And you have all of your infrastructure depends on sovereignty.
So with the name change, they were able to take over the system just with the name change?
With the disbanding of the alliance. When the Band of Brothers was disbanded, all of the Band of Brothers' sovereignty disappeared overnight. All of their infrastructure stopped working, all of their jump bridges, which was basically like Stargates, except anywhere, well, you could put them anywhere, basically skipping probably 5 to 7 systems at a time where it normally be. You have all of your sign of Surfield jammers down. Those basically block cattle ships from jumping into system, which is quite useful in a 0-0 setting, especially if you're up against Empire with a lot of dreadnoughts, because those are basically the POS and cattle ship killers in the game. So, not to mention, you have just all of this general confusion in the Band of Brothers. It's like, okay, you're going home, you're logging off, you go ahead and say in your Ventrilo, or your TeamSpeak, or your Alliance chat, okay guys, I'm going to bed, good night, fly safe, hello Europeans, as you come on. And so, you go to bed, and you wake up in the morning, and suddenly, there's no BoB. You wake up in a POS that is friendly, was friendly to you, and suddenly the guns are firing on you. You get popped, you get sent back to a station. See,
oh my.
there was, when BoB was disbanded, there was automatically nothing saying that there was no alliance-wide +10 to each faction. Each corporation has their own POSs and such, and it's not uncommon in an alliance to use another corporation's POSs. Well, Band of Brothers is a alliance that operates under NBSI rules, which is basically if it's not blue, shoot it. So neutrals, reds, anyone's not safe. Well, immediately, most of the Band of Brothers corporations to everyone else suddenly turned grey. And the pulse gun started firing on anyone who wasn't in the corporation. And it's like, the beginning thought after the alliance was disbanded is like, okay, well, maybe someone didn't pay a alliance bill on time. Okay, this will be easy to fix. So the lead directors at Reikoku go look in the alliance wallet. This is one of my personal favorites. Haggoth Agamar took everything in the wallet, everything in the alliance hangar, and left it with the message that said, "The Matani sends his regards."
Oh, Jesus.
Pretty much immediately after that, everyone who has ever had a beef against BoB and had a capital fleet and a whole bunch of members who were bored started just flooding into Band of Brothers space. So you have Triumvirate, you have AAA, you have Goon Swarm, good God, you have Red Alliance, anyone who has ever hated BoB just swarming into... Basically, they were caught with their pants down and everyone had a chance to kick them in the nuts. There was a line for it. It took them about a day to get a new alliance up, called Kenzoku. And pretty much, it was a desperate battle that lasted a month. But finally, all of the Band of Brothers systems just fell to Goon Swarm or whoever else, and that is how the Band of Brothers died. Lost all their sovereignty, lost many of their cattle ships. In fact, in the beginning, it was just a mad dash trying to get the Band of Brothers cattle ships out of Delve.
Unreal.
I know, it's just one of those things. It's like when I was growing up in my Eve life, it's like Band of Brothers was almost an idol for me. It's kind of like growing up, you have all these businesses, like you're American, right? Like McDonald's or Burger King or something like that, Toyota, Chrysler. Suddenly, out of nowhere, with no warning at all,
Wendy's blows up all the McDonald's.
Yeah, somebody just offs all the CEOs, takes off all of the stock of McDonald's, and suddenly they're all just popping down all over the place. It's like, what is going on? I hope the McDonald's wins. But no, Goon Swarm won, and well, Kenzoku is pretty much off the map, as they're called now.
Amazing. The story about the guy going to the other fellow's house and cutting his power, that's something.
Oh, I forgot to mention this. In the Delve invasion, when that all started, Goons started making a video basically saying that it was their D-Day, which I think further goes into my BoB being Nazi Germany sort of thing. They actually have a pretty good video of it too. I like it. But there were cases of Goons attacking Kenzoku poses with over 200 dreadnoughts and support ships. You know how in your small gangs you warp in and you're all just sort of in a ball. It's not too bad when there's like 5 or 10 people in small ships,